Hey guys, it's Asher, and for once, I'm actually recording in the daytime. It's 2:45 p.m. So, I found this random video, Communism Explained in Minecraft. Most random thing I found today, but we're gonna learn about communism with Minecraft. Okay, let's go.
In 1848, two people named Karl Marx and Friedrich Engels published a work called the Communist Manifesto, which outlined the collapse of capitalist societies while giving rise to the topic that we're going to learn about today,
Hmm. So, pyro anarchy is happening in the little background here. All right.
which is communism. And now, fast forward to the date 2025, where me and my Zero Skin will teach you the basics of what this economic ideology is. In today's video, Communism Explained through Minecraft. I hope you enjoy.
Sure.
So first, we have to understand what a communist society looks like.
All right.
So let's go to a village called the Snow Village and assume that they have a fully communist society.
It's kind of funny they go to a snow village because I'm pretty. Where is Karl Marx from? Isn't Karl Marx like German or something? Karl Marx. Yeah, German. So you know what? This fits because Germany is there's a lot of snow, I'm pretty sure.
In a communist society like this one, there is no private ownership, no
Uh-huh.
money, and no classes. Let's explore what these mean.
Hmm.
Starting with private ownership, one of communism's biggest features is that there is no private ownership of production infrastructure.
All right.
Farms, factories, mines, and all production would be owned communally. The people, or in this case the villagers, would own it. This means that they make decisions on what to do with the resources produced, instead of a private entity.
So it's not private. It's public now.
Now let's say that there's a villager who lives in the snow village. We'll call him Bob.
Hi, Bob.
Bob works at a farm and has just finished a full day of work. So
Okay.
how is he paid?
Hmm.
This is where the second point of communism comes in. The lack of need for money. Bob is not paid emeralds based on how many hours he has worked on the farm. Instead, he's actually only given what he needs. Right now, it's only food and water for him, but let's say that he marries and starts a family. Now he needs
Yeah.
a bigger house and he needs more food and water. So that's exactly what he's given. He still works the farm job with roughly the same hours, but now he has more because he needs more.
Okay, you know what? That makes somewhat sense. I'm not here like advocating for communism, but I'm understanding where they're coming from here.
This is a key difference between communist societies and capitalist ones. You're not paid based on how much you contribute, you're instead paid in how much you need. Zooming out into the bigger picture, every villager in the snow village works to produce resources that are then reallocated to everyone based on their needs. This basically makes the use for emeralds obsolete, as
Mhm.
resources are simply produced and allocated, making buying and selling non-existent. Now the third feature is the disappearance of classes.
So okay, just scrolling back a little bit. So that means no one needs money. You and if no one needs money, you'll never be in debt. Sort of. Okay, I'm probably not fully understanding this, but you know what? Let's continue. Disappearance of classes, the bourgeoisie and the proletariat or something.
This one is pretty simple. Everyone works, and everyone gets resources based on their needs, so no one is any richer or any poorer.
Equality in class.
Everyone is employed, and so no economic classes exist.
That
Now,
just sounds
another
pretty
reason
good.
for the disappearance of classes is that there is no government in a fully communist society. Villagers are self governing and are allied because they are all working toward the greater good. So the need for government is pretty much non existent.
Wow. So that means in a communism society, there is no Republican, no Democrat. It's just people.
But wait, you might be asking. This sounds way too good to be true. I mean, everyone working toward the same greater good?
I know, right?
When was that ever a realistic expectation? And if you thought that in your head, you would be 100% correct. The truth is, there has never been a fully communist society in history, because this kind of society has many utopian aspects that can only be achieved under very ideal circumstances.
Very ideal.
So then what about nations like communist China and the Soviet Union?
I'm pretty sure these countries have like private what do you call them? Private companies and private ownerships. Pretty sure.
What are all of those then? Well, to truly understand those kind of societies, we have to wind it all the way back to capitalism. And then from here, we have to ask ourselves, how do we get to communism? Now, the reason we must ask this question is because communist societies can't just appear out of nowhere. They must become one from an existing society. And all societies right now and in the past pretty much run under capitalism. Even in Minecraft, all villagers use emeralds and trade. Even in the Nether, piglins use gold to trade and barter.
You know, it's like for some reason the whole piglin bartering system completely went over my head.
So capitalism is pretty much everywhere. But how does a village, like say the Leaf Village, go from a capitalist society to a communist one? Well, this was a huge theory that Marx and Engels proposed. Imagine the Leaf Village is split up into two classes. The working class, known as the proletariat, and the ruling class, known as the bourgeoisie.
The bougie.
To demonstrate this,
Otherwise known as the bougie. Bam, bougie. Da 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 savage, ruthless. Da 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 bougie.
let's say that a villager named Mr. Villager,
Hey,
I
Mr.
know, real
Villager.
creative, works under a company called...
Hey, there are some people whose last name is Villager. I don't know who they are, but there are some people whose last names are Villager. I know there's some people whose last names are Carpenter. Y'all see what I did there.
Explosion Inc., a privately owned company. Now, the
makes
person
boom
that
boom.
owns that company is a man named Set.
Hey,
Since
Set.
he owns the means of production, Set is considered the bourgeoisie. Marx and Engels proposed here that Set's objective is getting as many emeralds and profit as possible, and Mr. Villager's objective is getting a good wage with good hours. Now, their theory said that they have a complete conflict of interest here, one that will result in Set exploiting Mr. Villager for cheap labor while he suffers. Now remember that this is only one relationship, and the Marxist theory says that all proletariats will be exploited by the bourgeoisie, resulting in everyone in the Leaf Village who is exploited like Mr. Villager to rally up in a revolution. This ends in the working class overthrowing the ruling class. And this act of overthrowing the ruling class is the first key step in the Marxist theory, and would result in the second step, which is socialism. Now, socialism is an extremely broad term, as it exists in so many different countries, including
America.
the US right now. However, in the context of Marxism, socialism is the transitional phase from capitalism to communism. Say that the revolution put a man named Zero in power of the Leaf Village. Zero now makes notable changes like taking control of production, like the farms and factories, so that decisions are not driven through profit and benefit for the private owners, and instead being for the good of the people. He also exerts much more control over the economy, making governmental decisions to try and even out the wealth concentration. Now, this is the step where most of the communist nations are actually at. The reason they aren't communist yet is because of two big hurdles. One of the hurdles is because once leaders like Zero gain that much power over the economy and many aspects of the country, that tends to not end with them giving it up for communism. Remember, communism involves handing the power fully to the people, where they can then self-govern.
But here's the thing, though: if you do that, he doesn't have power, and if he doesn't have power, that means there's less money for him to make out of it.
Historically, though, leaders like Zero instead will devolve into a much more authoritarian regime in which power is only given to the government, and taking it away from the very people that wanted it from the revolution.
Russia.
They often will exercise their power and make it a one-party system, and this is where you see many of the historically communist countries.
That's basically Russia and China in a nutshell. Who said that? Who said that? Did someone say that? I didn't say that. Who said that? But it's true. Who said that? Was it you, Nathaniel? I'm watching you, Nathaniel. It was you, wasn't it? Okay, what were you, George? I see you there, George. I see you. I see you snickering. Oh, what about you, Sanjit? Oh, don't think I didn't forget about you, Sanjit. I didn't think about you either. What about you? What about you, Barbara? Oh. You didn't think I'd notice? Hmm. Hmm. Hmm.
Having a very oppressive government. Now, the other reason comes from individual incentives. Imagine again that you are a villager living under a communist economy.
Beep.
You have absolutely no way to make your living situation any better. Sure, everybody is employed, but people with big hopes and dreams cannot make any of that a reality.
That is so true. That's one of the problems with this is that you with with communism you don't have there it basically eliminates dreamers. It's like you can't make yourself better. Like everybody's supposed to be in one spot. Like you can't make like it's restrictive.
If you are a worker, your only purpose is to work and live off of the resources you are allocated. There is no potential for greater success or any higher financial gain.
Yeah, like we can't come up on the come up. You know what I'm saying?
All you do is work and serve your country,
Quack quack
and that
quack
is an
quack quack
extremely
quack.
unfavorable incentive for many. So
Mm-hmm.
even if Zero were to hand the power over to the people, those people in the long run would not be able to work for the country alone. That reason is not strong enough, and the communist system would crumble. And that's about all I have today for communism and Marxism. This is one of the coolest things to learn about, and hopefully I cleared up some mystery around this very infamous subject. Anyways, some side news is that I graduated from high school.
Let's go.
It truly feels so weird, but I'm gonna keep making videos through the summer. Now that I'm done with school, it's time for me and Zero to revolt. And that's where I'm gonna go. So best of luck with your studies, and bye bye.
All right. Well, congratulations to this guy who made the video. I did not check his name. Was it Zero or something? But yeah, that was communism explained in Minecraft in a nutshell. But yeah, so see, we might say places like Russia, Cuba, and China are communist. Ooh man, what was that? Communism, but they're more or less social. They're more or less like I guess socialism, but we're still gonna call them communism because like it's like the buzzword. It's easier to say. Like if you say, "Oh, they're socialists," and we'll be like, "Hmm," but then if we say, "Oh, they're communists," and we're like, that's basically what we do. But thank you guys for watching this educational video through Minecraft with me. If you like the video, comment, leave a like, subscribe. Yeah, I'm posting very regularly. Well, as regularly as I can. It's like a video every like 2 days or something, 2 3 days or something right now, which I guess if you think about it is a lot healthier of a upload schedule. Honestly, I've never really had. I still don't have an upload schedule. I'm like right now. I'm like, you know what? I want to make this video. I'm gonna make this video. But thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you next video. Bye.